constitutes a virtual classroom where you become the student. As you study and apply the lessons, your success will improve week by week, earning you very high marks on your report card for life. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? As Napoleon Hill says, clearly define to yourself what you want to attain in life. Say to yourself, I can do it now. Make a plan and chart the steps you must take to reach your goal. Take them one at a time, and you will find that with each success, the next step comes easier as more and more people are attracted to help you achieve your ultimate purpose. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Are you satisfied with where you are and the direction you are going? If not, take control of your life and change whatever needs to be changed. You and only you have the power to do this. You can change your world. So, now to continue as an introduction, Judith Williamson, director of the Napoleon Hill World Learning Center, has written a book that you can read, enjoy, and apply to help you accomplish what you may desire in life. The author has carefully chosen an applicable quote from Napoleon Hill for each. The author has carefully chosen an applicable quote from Napoleon Hill for each week of the year. Next, the author has used her extensive knowledge of Napoleon Hill's writings, coupled with her experience as a professor, on the principles of success. So let us continue with it. I hope you are with me. Yes. And this will relate to the work of Hill to create a profound message for the reader. You, the reader, can read, study, and apply the messages on the principle that most appeal to you, but I ask that you not neglect any of the principles because all are necessary if you desire to reach your maximum potential that you receive at birth. Once you have completed the book, go back and read it again and take the suggestions and repeat them until they become a part of your being. The end result of your education will help you reach your. So once you've completed the book, go back and read it again and take the suggestions and repeat them until they become a part of your being. The end result of your reading, study, and application will help you reach your desires. But most importantly, the ultimate result will not be what you receive in the process, but the person you become while on your journey to success. As Don Green, Executive Director, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, says. Short Lessons on Life by Napoleon Hill. A definite purpose is not success, but it is a first step which you must take before you can achieve success. If you refuse or neglect taking it, you will soon find yourself drifting in one of those little boats, riding aimlessly over the sea of life, a victim of winds and the waves of circumstance. Very soon, this drifting becomes a fixed habit, and habits, whether good or bad, are hard to break up or change. In lesson number 1, human faults are like garden weeds. They grow without cultivation and soon take the place if they aren't thinned out, as Napoleon Hill says. Our life is like a garden. We reap what we sow. Seeds of negativity that are planted in our mental garden ultimately grow into a crop of negative actions that choke our success potential. Like any gardener, we must eliminate the weeds before our garden can produce its best harvest. Reflection. No seed shall perish which the soul hath sown, as John Eddington Simons says. Short lessons of life. If you would plant a suggestion deeply, mix it generously with enthusiasm, for enthusiasm is the fertilizer that will ensure its rapid growth. Keep your mind on the things you want and off the things you don't want. And lesson number 2, everything one needs or desires has a way of showing up as soon as one is ready for it. Ready doesn't mean wish, as Napoleon Hill says. Each of us creates the personal Lesson 2, everything one needs or desires has a way of showing up as soon as one is ready for it. Ready doesn't mean wish, as Napoleon Hill says in his book 52 Lessons of Life. Each of us creates the personal outcomes that we manifest in our lives. So, the obvious message for those of us seeking success is to model the outcome that we desire to create. Act as if we already have the trait or characteristic we desire, and it will be so sooner than later. There is an often heard adage that states, what goes around comes around. It is truer than you think. Reflection on this by Graham Bell. Whatever this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists, and it becomes available only when you are in that state of mind in which you know exactly what you want and are fully determined not to quit until you get it. Then the next thing we are seeing is Short Lessons on Life by Napoleon Hill. Any idea, plan, purpose, or definite aim which you persistently submit to your subconscious mind through the medium of concentration here described brings to your aid the force of infinite intelligence until eventually practical plans of procedure will flash into your mind during your period of concentration. So, in lesson number 3, pick out some person whom you admire and imitate him or her as closely as you can. This is hero worship, but it improves character, as Napoleon Hill says. Napoleon Hill frequently speaks of his cabinet of imaginary counselors. This is an expression of his creative imagination and continues to interest many readers. It also sparks some concern for the mental health of this great motivational author. Why is it when people attempt to motivate themselves by reflecting on the great individuals from the distant or recent past, others assume they are rubbing shoulders with the supernatural? Nonsense. Great speakers and writers not only gain inspiration from reading biographies of successful people, but they also gain insight into their own character. Napoleon Hill was ahead of his time in recognizing what we think about what we become. About we become. If we dwell on that which is good, we program our subconscious minds for the goodness that will ultimately follow. Garbage in, garbage out doesn't only apply to computers. If we continually Feed our subconscious mind garbage in the form of negative thoughts and images. Our programming will then accommodate us by producing those results in our waking world. A tomato seed always yields a tomato plant, never a peach tree. Think about it. The law of the universe delivers exactly what we program ourselves for on schedule. Dr. Hill's imaginary counselors were his method for making his mind positive. What is wrong with creating your own board of directors for your life? Members could be teachers from your past, departed friends or relatives you respect, and or historical people that you choose to admire and emulate. Get yourself programmed for success by putting together a phenomenal board of directors that can meet anytime or any way you desire, is free of cost, and has no hidden agenda. Solicit the help and expertise of Dr. Hill's imaginary counselors and always get the very best advice every time. So, in this reflection by Abraham Lincoln, God is a silent partner in all great enterprises. Next lesson for Napoleon Hill says, if life hands you a lemon, don't complain, but convert it into lemonade and sell it to those who are thirsty from graping. Many people come to study Dr. Hill's philosophy of success because they are reeling from a recent adversity or loss and or are trying to regain their footing in life. As most of us already know, life can deliver some very hard punches, and many times we would rather stay down for the count than stand up and recover. At those times, it is always appropriate to remind ourselves just what Dr. Hill had to say on the subject of learning from adversity and defeat. He states, in every adversity and defeat, there is a seed of an equal or equivalent benefit. Notice that he did not say there would be a full blown blessing or advantage immediately due as equal to the adversity or defeat we experienced. Instead, he challenges us to look for the seed that we need to cultivate and nurture into the benefit that the universe promises to bestow upon us if we just recognize the oak in the acorn, or in other words, the gift in the adversity. Dr. Hill's Science of Success course helps us to uncover those seeds that oftentimes remain hidden and latent in our treasure chest of challenges. Think back and remember a few adversities that you may have experienced over the past few years, large or small. Now, honestly ask yourself what good came out of the bad experience. That seed of good is a compensation that the universe, that good or bad, is the compensation that the universe is gifting you so that you can plant it, cultivate it, and harvest it as the reward that has been promised. Mary Pickford gives us a reflection for this. If you have made mistakes, there is always another chance for you. You may have a fresh start any moment you choose. For this thing we call failure is not the falling down but the staying down. Next, in lesson 5, Napoleon Hill says, the art of being grateful for the blessings you already possess is of itself the most profound form of worship, an incomparable gem of prayer. February has always been a month for showing our gratitude to others. We are grateful to the groundhog when he doesn't see his shadow on February 2nd. We are grateful to our loved ones and thank them with a Valentine on February 14th. And we are grateful for our founding fathers and celebrate them on President's Day. When you think about it, our lives are overflowing with goodness. Just try counting your blessings one evening as you drift off to sleep. You will be fast asleep before you can finish. You can also try listing the things you are grateful for Each day in a journal, whether you are grateful for your family, position, health, or personal relationship, it always does a person good to count their blessings. Dr. Hill lists some of the adversities that life has thrown in his path of writings and then reflects on the good that these negatives have brought into his life. Looking for the good within the bad takes a little more time, but the rewards are worth it. Once you can train yourself to focus on a positive outcome, no matter what the circumstances of the moment are, you can maintain and cash in on your positive mental attitude every day in every way. As the saying by Emil Poe states, every day in every way, I get better and better. Each of us can do this more effectively by being a good finder, even in our worst circumstances. Remember, it is all good. Andrew Carnegie gives us his reflection. The value of all riches, money included, consists in the use one makes of them, not in their possession. And finally, in lesson number 6, Napoleon Hill says the best way to get favors is to start handing out favors. Andrew Carnegie's favorite principle is said to have been going the extra mile. Dr. Hill identifies this principle as one of the big four because of its positive impact on a person's life and career. By going the extra mile without expectation of compensation, a person puts even infinite intelligence in his debt. Think about it, doing just a little extra each day in the right mental attitude can put you ahead of the masses in just a short amount of time. Rendering better service than that which you are paid to render puts you in a class by yourself because the average worker simply does not do this. Essentially, you are stockpiling up goodness that the law of increasing returns will reward you with in abundance at some future date. The laws of nature support this, cosmic habit force supports this, and the law of increasing returns supports this. Emerson's essay on compensation discusses this aspect in great detail, and it is worth the investment of the time it takes to read it. By giving more than expected, you are paving your road to greatness. As Emerson states, do the thing and you shall have the power. This puts a force squarely in your corner. If it works, why aren't you using it? Go the extra mile and maybe even two, and soon you will understand why this principle was the one on which Andrew Carnegie based his entire career. So the reflection for this is by Mahatma Gandhi himself, where he says, if you don't ask, you don't get.